What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this, we have small house tour in Scotland home buying experience. I love reacting to this couple. Both of them are they seem like genuinely awesome people from the videos. Before we dive in, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to support the channel further by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit that join button to receive your exclusive benefits. Let's dive in.
Hi everyone, I'm Annie.
And I'm Zach. And just over a month ago, we moved our family from California all the way to Scotland, and we bought a house.
Woohoo!
So in this video, we're going to talk about how that process goes in Scotland, the differences that we experience between the US and Scotland home buying, and all of that encompasses.
And then we'll probably show you clips of the house tour when we moved in. Well, we haven't moved in yet, but when we first saw it, and then we've done a few renovations here and there, so you'll get to see both probably if we have footage of everything. We never knew we'd be on YouTube, so.
Yeah, there's lots going on, and timelines change, so things are taking longer than expected, but it's been informative, I guess would be the best word.
Yeah.
Going through this process, so
let's start about how this all came about.
It started when Annie met a Scotsman and decided she wanted to move to Scotland.
15 years ago? How long have we been married? 16 years?
2010,
dating?
8, 10.
All right.
Long time.
Yeah. So my first visit to Scotland, it just captivated me. And I always had this feeling of I'd like to move here someday, because who would not want to live here? And Zach, being born and raised in Scotland, also felt there was so much to offer here. And although maybe he didn't see it as a 19, 20, 21-year-old, after having a family and seeing what it takes to raise children, he started to get the appeal of moving back home.
I feel that.
Yeah, Annie, as a hobby, just enjoys looking for houses on, I don't even know the name of the site, Zillow in the US,
yeah,
and places like that.
I might have to say that might be a woman thing. That might not just be an anything. Because my wife loves doing that as well. Just looking for houses. Expensive houses. And that lets me know that I need to start making more money.
All over the US just for fun, and then of course Scotland, and actually all across the UK, because it's been a pipe dream of mine.
I guess it's not really a hobby. They're the same hobby. If you look at all over, I'm talking about you look in the area, but Annie said we look I look all over the US and outside of the country for houses. So yeah, that must be a hobby of hers for real.
So I guess the sites that I looked at here mostly were, oh gosh, I'm losing them now. ESPC, I think that's it. Why am I forgetting them? I'm blanking now. Rightmove, there's a bunch. We can list them. But I would check those out daily. And then once we finally made the decision to buy a home here, after we had gone through this process, and it was quite time intensive, there was a lot to go into it. But once we made that decision, then I hit it hard, and I started looking daily and looking at every site and refreshing a couple times a day just to see what was out there, what was in our budget.
Which turned out to be not very much.
I feel that.
Unlike all these people on the TV shows who have like, oh, we have $1 million down payment. We did not have that, nowhere close. We were using money from the sale of our house in the US to try and fund this one with as small a mortgage as we could, while still finding something that was obviously big enough and would work for our family. And that narrowed the pool down pretty significantly.
That was a factor, though, a huge factor. We wanted to be as close to mortgage-free as possible to be able to live the life that we wanted, and to be able to enjoy activities with the kids or putting our money elsewhere. So yeah, that was a huge consideration. We had a smaller budget than most, and we knew that that meant reduced square footage, most likely, or giving and taking on other bits that we might have had in California. Well, maybe not California. Our California home was also pretty small in comparison to most
Again,
homes.
due to budget.
Anywho, getting back to where we were. Where were we?
You start looking more intently, and I guess narrowed down the pool to what we could afford, what we needed, and what would work for our family.
Yes. And I remember when we were here last summer, when it wasn't actually in the plans to move, I was looking on Rightmove, and this one house popped up, and I thought, oh, that is so cute. I could see that working for our family, but it might be a little too small. These were just the thoughts that I kept to myself, since
I
Zach would have
feel
thought I
that.
was crazy with no
I mean,
plans to move here
everyone
yet.
wants to move to the place you go on holiday. So that was always my sort
I
of
feel
pushback. It's
that.
like, well, of course you want to move here. We're not working. We're just enjoying ourselves, doing whatever. But it's different when you're living somewhere for real life.
I
But
100% agree with that statement, and I feel like everybody does feel that way. It's almost kind of like when you're in a relationship in the beginning, right? Everything's like awesome. Like you're only seeing the best side of each other. You're not seeing what it's really like to be with the person every day, most of the day. You're not seeing that, and so of course you're excited about starting a relationship, but then it's when that relationship is real. When you see the good and the bad, when you live with them, when you're there about them 24/7, and that's when a lot of people are like, you know what, this ain't what it used to be. I ain't signed up for this. That's what happens. Or if you truly love that person, you found the one and you're happy. You take the good with the bad, though.
Yeah. So that house came and went, and I thought about it a lot. And then when we actually started our search, all of a sudden it popped up again. And I sort of took that as a sign. And Zach, I showed him, and he actually liked it too. The size was always a question, though.
Mm-hmm.
So right
there's been a
away,
lot of houses, so I'm trying to narrow down which one she's talking about. I think I got it.
well, it's the one we bought.
Oh, I thought you meant. There were so many.
So
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
Annie
days.
saw this house. It popped up back up in her search, which sparked her interest once again. And quick as a flash, she was on the phone to my parents asking if they could go have a look at it and get their in-person view of how they felt it might fit us with 3 kids.
because one of the differences between buying a house in the US versus buying in, well, at least Scotland specifically, is that many of the estate agents want you to have actually viewed the property before you can put in an offer. At least
Mm,
where we are, it's a very competitive market.
okay.
And if you haven't viewed the house, there's sort of a red X on you, and they don't really consider your
Mm,
offer, because they don't want you coming back and
mm-hmm.
saying, oh, I didn't see this, I didn't know this.
Yep.
There's enough bids that they don't really need to mess
I
around.
get that.
Yeah,
I get
we're
that.
complete novices in both countries with the home buying. We bought one home in the US and now one home in Scotland. So we were learning every day, every email we found out something new, and every day Annie did research that taught us something new about the process. So
We actually, another difference is that in order to view the house, you're supposed to set it up with your solicitor. So in the US, you have a
Really?
real estate agent, and your real estate
Mm-hmm.
agent or buyer's agent, whatever it is, takes you around and shows you the house, and you set up an appointment with them, and
Yes.
they're the in between with the people selling the house. So
Yes.
they walk you through, they have the keys, and that's sort of similar here, but the real estate agent is, help me out here, they do more of like,
the estate
they
agent
help.
here is obviously selling the house for the person,
Yeah,
but
they're not there to
after
help the buyers.
after they show
Mm.
you the house, they're kind of done. And
Yep.
then you go talk to your solicitor who does all
Which,
the paperwork and
Oh
legal stuff,
wow.
which in the US the real estate agent manages from start
exactly.
to finish. And there's more of like a relationship, and they kind of almost court you to like have
Yeah.
them have your business.
Yeah.
And the solicitors here are actual lawyers. So that's
Yeah,
the difference between your real estate agents in the US are not
they're
lawyers.
licensed to
To do
practice real estate,
exactly, and
but
to write your offer, to do all of that, to negotiate, but they're not lawyers. So that's
yeah.
the difference here.
And here in
I feel like that's very, very interesting, the difference between the two. I've got to say, like, how much do you have to pay a solicitor? Because I believe the real estate agent gets paid in the US off, they get a commission if they do sell the house. They get a commission. But I don't think you have to necessarily pay them out of your pocket. I wonder in the UK, if y'all can be in the comment section, do you have to pay the solicitor out of your pocket to do all this paperwork and negotiating and everything for you? And then the real estate agent still gets their commission. So y'all talk to me in the comments. I would love to hear that.
In the UK or Scotland, solicitor, lawyer, it's pretty much an interchangeable term. They're legally
but it's just
certified
slightly
to practice law and
different. They don't come around and show you the place necessarily. They do all the behind the scenes work and all the paperwork and making sure that all those boxes are ticked.
Okay.
Yes, and there's lots of interesting boxes in Scotland that need to get ticked, which we'll get into. So, so yeah, my parents viewed the house. They got back on a call with us. They took some videos, took some pictures, and there's only so much you can get from behind a camera. And we just bluntly asked them, "Do you think this would work for us?" They've lived in a similar sized home for a long time when my brother and I grew up. So
one less child,
but yeah, they were confident that it would work for us, knowing us and how we do things.
They
and all
liked
that
the
sort of
fact
stuff.
that it was a stone-built house. It had a good foundation. The foundation was great, and there were bits and pieces they thought, yes, you might need to do this or that to make it exactly what we want. But because we're planning on living there for the long term, that is fine. We knew that with time we could make it exactly what we'd like to raise our family.
Yeah, as long as there's no big structural issues, then we're willing to work on the minor things.
I think we needed at least 3 bedrooms we needed 3 bedrooms, a bathroom. It would have been nice to have 2. We didn't get that.
Yeah.
We got, what else? And
my only thing is I wanted a house with a garage, so we ended up with a house without a garage. So. But we have a fix for that.
that was Zach's one request, but it wasn't meant to be. And this house actually has a back garden that's large enough to where we have plans. So we'll get to that. Let's get back to the process though.
So another thing that we learned in the Scottish home buying process was regarding LBTT, which is Land and Buildings Transaction Tax. It replaced what used to be called stamp duty. And it's a tiered tax system that basically is dependent on the price of your home. So that just adds on another chunk of money that you have to be able to afford into your grand calculation of your offer and your down payment and all that stuff. And something that we were very confused about in terms of calculating how much that would be. And once we figured out how to do it properly, it was a huge relief, actually.
It was a game changer.
It completely changed the offer that we put in. Because one of the offers was slightly above one of the bands, and we thought the whole percentage of tax applied to that. But like sort of income tax, it's tiered based on
once we found that out, that is why we were able to increase our bid before we formally put in our offer and get that winning bid. So yeah, that was huge.
And like Annie said, that made all the difference because as far as we were aware, we were successful by a very small margin.
So another thing that affected our budget, which we had to think about, was that homes in our area were going, because I was watching.
It's crazy like how you settle though. Just based off of whatever your budget is, you definitely end up settling. Like he said, the only thing I wanted was a garage. And I know they say different. I say garage. He said, and so we ended up getting a house with no garage. But you figure it out. You figure out what's inside of your budget, and you get the best thing available. And that's just how it is. And then get that y'all move to Scotland. I'm like, in the U.S., jeez Louise, bro, it's just getting worse and worse and worse, and houses and apartments just continues to go up and up and up, and the money that you're getting paid continues to stay the same. So it's like you can't win. It's tough over here, bro. It's tough.
And watching them a few months down the line, what they ended up selling for, they were going for a minimum of 10% over the asking overs price, up to 20% over the asking overs price. And do you want to explain what that actually means?
In Scotland, instead of just, hey, my house is listed for this amount of money, it's either a fixed price of this amount of money or offers over a certain amount of money, which is supposed to I mean, you have to offer over that price, which was new in the States. It's just, here's the price of the house. You can offer over, but that's what they're putting on the market for.
And the offers over price is typically about 5,000 pounds under what the house is actually valued at.
Okay.
So that was an interesting thing to us. So they're starting low, expecting people to bid up and to get more than what the house is actually worth. And
That's very interesting. I mean, personally, I feel like I would start at what the house is valued at, and then y'all compete from there. That's interesting.
Of cases. I know it's very dependent on where you move to in Scotland, and I don't know, you'll have to let us know what the England, Wales, Northern Ireland buying processes are, because obviously this is new to us and we don't know all those details. So yeah, interested to hear about that.
Yeah, and then the next thing, again, in the US, your real estate agent, if you're like, okay, we're going with this house, this is what we can afford, this is what we want to offer, they'll talk to the selling real estate agent and present the offer and get some feedback and be like, oh, actually, no, this is a non-star. You need to offer this at minimum, or there's these people interested. Whereas in Scotland, it's all like blind bids, basically.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but definitely not as much that you see in the US, with a little bit more of the behind the scenes. Oh, give me a little bit more information that I can relay to my clients.
Gotcha.
So here, yes, the blind bid process. This is pretty infamous, and it was nerve-wracking, to say the least. So what this is, it actually is a blind. You have to go in with your number of what you want to offer, and it's pretty much a best and final offer.
Straight away, yeah.
We were up against 4 others that we know of, and they're sealed bids, so no one knows what anyone's offering. And then they present them. I think we had to have our bids in at like 11 in the morning.
Yeah, it was a certain time on a certain day.
Yeah.
And all we know before that is that 4 other people have put in a note of interest.
Yeah.
Which is basically they like the house to the point that they're definitely putting a bid or likely to put a bid. Or
I can't remember what the note of interest
anyway, they're
really
very
meant.
interested to the point that they're getting their paperwork together and all that sort of stuff. So we knew it wasn't a guaranteed thing for us, and that we had 4 other people to compete against.
Dang.
But we have no idea who these people are, if they're multimillionaires, if they're going to offer £1,000 over the price. You have no idea.
It was extremely stressful. And we got a little bit of information from a friend who helped us along the way. It wasn't our solicitor, actually. It was just someone with knowledge of the area that we were in, and got some good feedback about having a number that doesn't just end in zeros. So we found out that later that day, I think it was 5 p.m., we found out that we were the winning bid by pounds and pence, is what we were told.
Yeah.
So that was a huge relief.
We were in a great situation. We didn't have a house to sell, so there was no chain for us to. So we were a good prospect for the seller. We had, like I said, nothing that we had to rely on. We just had our offer we were willing to or able to afford.
They knew we had a large down payment, which meant a much smaller mortgage. So the likelihood of us not being able to get the mortgage was smaller, which was also a good thing.
Yeah. And so, like Annie said, if there's 2 people in that situation and they both put bids in and one is £5 more than the other, then, I mean, it's still up to the seller, but that can be the difference. But
not having chain, not having that house to sell really does put you up higher, especially with this.
I feel like definitely the bigger down payment that you put down, like she said, the less you're going to have to pay for mortgage. So the more likely you're going to be able to pay mortgage each and every month. For sure, not having a house to sell. So it's not like I can get you this, but first I got to sell this. And I got to take it. You don't got no baggage. You're not bringing any baggage with your bid, and that's to a seller incredible, right? You need this home. You don't just want this home. You need this home. You don't have a home at the moment. You need it. And you're giving me a big down payment. And you won the bid by pounds and pence, which is crazy, but you won. It just sounds like it all aligned very, very perfectly.
Or this couple, because they had already had their chain fall through before and had to start the whole process back over. So I think that was a huge relief to them as well.
So yeah, we got the news. We couldn't quite believe it. And then we went straight on the internet to figure out what to do next.
Exactly.
No, but we were working with a solicitor, and they basically just do all the work in the background, all the legal things, making sure that the land and the home is able to be sold and there's nothing preventing that. And
so it was pretty straightforward for us, and there wasn't anything strange with the property, which was great. Sometimes if your property is built on a certain type of land, there's more paperwork to be done. If they find like minerals in your soil.
Yeah. One of the clauses in the paperwork was that if we do discover minerals on our land, we're not allowed to mine it, which was a bizarre and new thing we'd never heard of before.
Just quite a few little things here and there that, thank goodness we had a solicitor, because I would have no idea what they were talking about.
A solicitor that we dearly trusted as well.
That's true.
That was the biggest similarity between the two. In the US, we had a real estate agent who we trusted completely. And then again, in Scotland, our solicitor, we trusted completely. So we knew we were in good hands. We went along for the ride, and we learned something new every day.
Yeah. So that whole process went through. We got the mortgage and then got the keys. We were still not over in the UK. So
that's it. We didn't get the keys. My parents got the keys
His
for
parents
us.
got the keys, and they were so amazing. Every week they would send us pictures of them in the backyard mowing the lawn or
just keeping up the house a little bit to make it look a little lived in, and getting it sort of tidied up and stuff, which was huge.
It was so nice. They live right down the road, but it takes effort to do that weekly, and they really helped us out.
Yeah, all in all, in the end, it worked out really well for us. We're really happy and excited to get started with the house. It was stressful, as any home buying process is, any of the two that we've been through. But yeah, we had people that we trusted helping us and working with us, which was huge and something I definitely recommend.
I think you just get attached. Once you've decided to put that offer in, that house in your brain, it's yours,
You've mentally moved in.
You have. You picture things here and there. You picture the colors on the wall, your kids running through. And it had just had, what we could tell, had such a nice flow. And that was important to us. And it had it. So that was something I was really hoping we wouldn't lose out on. We got lucky.
I just got to give a quick shout out to his parents, man. I guess their parents, since they're married now, right? Your family, my family, we're all one big family now. So their parents that made sure the house was taken care of while they were still trying to get over to the UK. Made sure the lawn was mowed. I'm sure they made sure inside of the house was spick and span, although should have came like that, so I'm sure it did. But just keeping up with the house for sure, because you got to keep up with your own house. Now you got to go keep up with this house too. But as a dad, I mean, my kids aren't grown, but I feel like there's nothing I wouldn't do for my son. If he was grown and he was moving close to me and needed my help, I'd go do the same. So I get it. They're absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome.
So do you want to talk about what it was like seeing our house for the first time?
Yes. We were obviously excited and eager, and our plan was to see it the day we landed, but with jet lag and traveling with kids, that just wasn't on the cards. So
it was a bit of a bummer. We definitely wanted to see it, but
the day after we landed, we got our keys, went to the house, and it was
exactly like the pictures.
That's what I'd say. It was pretty much like it looked. And the way my parents had described it, with the space and the use of space and all that, and all the things we had seen that we wanted to change, we still wanted to change. So it was exciting. It was a relief, honestly.
Yeah.
So actually, yes, we will fit in this house and we can make this work. And this looks like it looked. And it was really
It was
cool.
great. And we got to see, so we had been in touch with different contractors just because we knew we'd be staying with Zach's parents for a little bit once we moved over. And we thought, let's just go ahead and get some of the work out of the way while there aren't kids running around. It'll be so much easier. We had saved up specifically for this. And we knew that the main bathroom was, it was still functional, but it was tired. And
it's a bit dated, yeah.
It was more like some of the tiles were chipped, water could get in back behind the bathtub. There were things that needed to be done pretty quickly. So we decided to go ahead and renovate the main bathroom and then as well put a half bath under our stairs.
Yeah.
Nice.
3 kids and 1 bathroom.
Doable, but it would be so much better.
Yeah.
That was nice. Yeah, I feel like 3 kids, 1 bathroom. That family of 5. Whoa, we already need 2 bathrooms. We family of 3, and we like when he grow up, we gonna need that. So yeah, so family of 5 definitely 2 bathrooms necessity.
Okay, with all that being said, I think it's time to show a little bit of the house,
Let's
and
do it.
hopefully you guys enjoy. And yeah, join us next week when we're talking about something else.
We don't know yet.
Week by week.
So we just went to a paint store. It's that one over there, paint shed, and picked up some samples for a house that we've never seen. So hopefully,
And we purchased enough samples probably to paint an entire house.
let's show them what's inside of there. Okay, those are our samples, and hopefully something works for our house. We know the color scheme we're going for, but I don't know. Hopefully the house suits it.
What you're supposed to do after a full day of traveling, go look at paint supplies with bleary eyes. All right, on our way to our brand new house for our first time. Got the keys, got our directions set, and
We've never seen it in person, so this is our first time walking through the doors, seeing it, well, any of it, really.
Let's see how good my parents' recommendation is.
We have toured it with video call and FaceTime, so I think we have a good idea of what's to be expected, but...
In 19 minutes, we'll know.
All right, he's opening it up. Look at that door.
7 locks there.
Oh, Zach, come show the key real fast.
Not too close, someone might copy it.
Oh,
I love
a
that.
real key.
I absolutely freaking love that. Right? It's one of the old school keys like you see in like movies. Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
Only amazing to an American.
It's only amazing to an American, and that's such a fact. Okay. Oh, nice. Love this. Love this.
Look at our staircase.
Nice. Re-renovated. Okay. Nice bath, nice bath. I love that you don't gotta buy the shower curtains, don't you? Because you got glass. That's nice. It's nice.
Oh my gosh, Zach, what do you think?
It's definitely got a little, like, sort of little cottagey vibe.
Oh wow. That's nice.
So this is gonna be a little toilet room.
Yeah.
Place.
WC.
WC. They just ripped everything out, stripped down the walls a bit. There was some paper and other stuff on here that they'd taken off. Rough plumbed in for the toilet and the sink. Yeah, so that's all that's going in here. So they're gonna redo the fuse box, cover it up, cover all this up. Have a little toilet, a little sink, mirror. Is that it? That's all you need.
There you
We
go.
need to get a mirror. We got some, we got fun.
Got it.
We got some fun lighting that arrived today, so I can't wait to do that. We're gonna move that little light over to above the mirror over here somewhere. We're going for a little bit of a vintagey style, more traditional look.
Respect.
Zach, the sink.
Oh, dang.
Nice. Okay, so we...
Oh, dang, they putting in all this work. Dang. Hey, they know how to get their hands dirty and get down to business. I don't know how to fix all this. I would have been like, you had to call some people.
This is our new sink we got from B&Q.
Big one.
Yeah, we're going to replace this. It's going to take up a lot of that counter, but I think it'll be worth it just to have a bigger basin.
It comes to kind of here.
I like
and
that.
Takes up most of the counter space.
I like that.
Yeah, but we'll use it.
It'll work. Looks like there's, should be fine. Okay. Measured it, so technically it fits. If they can make it fit, that's another question. But
this mirror right here is another one of our thrift store finds. I'm gonna paint it, but it has really pretty detailing.
Yeah.
Oh, there I am. Hi.
Hey.
I'm struggling because I like the deep color here. I feel like it's really pretty and would look really good on this wall, but I don't know if on the trim it's going to be way too dark against a white wall. So then this is Stir-About, which is sort of blasted all over the internet as being so pretty, and it looks beautiful in here, but then in other rooms it has more of a pink twinge to it, like on the door through here. I feel like here it almost looks pinky, and then so that throws me off. You okay?
I don't see it.
But
I'm like, I don't see the pink. My eyes are missing it. But I do not pick out any of this stuff. As long as I got 4 walls to be in, that's all I care about. And my wife will decorate the rest of the house. That's it.
Then I lean towards Joe's white when it's in here. So I'm so thoroughly confused.
good, solid day work.
Welcome. As you can see, we've not moved in yet. We're just doing the finishing touches of the renovation. We had all the walls and wainscoting painted throughout the whole house. And now we're just doing the touch-ups and then new carpet put in. You can see how pretty that is. Straight up the stairs are some bedrooms. I'm not going to be showing the kids' spaces, but you can get the idea. And then to the right over here is the living room, which I'll show you more in detail in a minute.
Okay.
Down here is Zach.
Getting to work.
He's working on putting in our shoe cabinet, making it look a little bit more built in.
Hey, Zach.
Oh, we got these beautiful lights from Facebook Marketplace. They're actually from Pookie.
Zach said I can.
Those were.
Zach said I could renovate this thing myself. I got this.
Deal. I was so happy about those. So let me show you. I'll take a step back so you can see. This is the main bathroom here. I'll go in there in a little bit, but let's go up the stairs. Here we go. I love the natural light this house gets.
It is.
So up here, beautiful. We're going to do built-ins as well to have some extra storage.
It is painted gorgeous. I'll say that.
It's just beautiful out there. And then you can see back down.
That is amazing.
Here is the master. This really nice area over here, which will be our office at some point. And then we turn. We have a large bed, since we always end up having a child come in with us at some point. That's what happens when you have 3 little ones, but lots of closet space. That's our daughter's new kitchen that we got off the Facebook, and we're going to surprise her with it when we actually move in. But this is one of my favorite things. The storage in this house is quite unexpected. Let me open it up. Look how deep it is back there. It just goes on and on. It's huge. You can do so much with that. And we have one on the other side of the room as well.
Oh, nice.
And then a full sliding closet. Okay. Going back down the stairs. And oh, here we have matching lights up here that went with the other ones. They're all dusty right now. Here we go. Okay, here's the main bath. We went with that terracotta herringbone flooring. Love that. I've always dreamed of terracotta floors, so it brings me so much happiness. There's a lot of finishing touches.
Got the towel warmer. Is that what the towel warmers look like? I need it.
Just to be done in here. We're gonna paint, do all. Some of the trim has been sealed in, but we need to do more. Sure. That's my mom. Say hi. And we have the toilet.
Very nice.
I went for traditional fixtures. I just love it in an older house.
Very nice.
And then
bathroom.
This piece, we actually had them build it in, the contractors, so that water wouldn't seep down around the edges. I'm thrilled with that decision. And then we got this beautiful white, straight stacked tile. I forget what that's called. Zeliac? Can't remember. Something like that. Then another one of those lights. This beautiful window. The tub and surround.
Oh, now you got the big shower head, and then you got the one that come off, and hey.
But here is the living room. So from this view, same flooring throughout. Then you have radiator on this wall. To the left is the kitchen. Sorry, I don't know why it is so dark in here right now. It's hard to get a true picture and true feel. So we are in the corner of the living room, and I'm going to take you into the kitchen now. Got some stone floors, which are nice. And then in this back corner, Zach is actually going to build in banquet seating, and we'll have our table floating a little bit more out into the kitchen. And then you see this really pretty white wooden ceiling. Zach just replaced all the lights, which is great. So once you're in to the kitchen, let me turn around. This is the kitchen. We got some new appliances because they had taken theirs when they moved out, the previous owners.
Gotcha.
And what we have in here, it's totally functional. It's a good use of space, actually. Small kitchen, small but mighty.
But very nice. I mean, it's a pretty decent sized kitchen, if you ask me. Yeah, that's a decent size.
What we want to do is replace the backsplash. So they have this stainless steel, which is nice, but it's a little bit more modern, and we'd like to have more of a cottage feel. So we are going to put a beadboard backsplash. Zach, what do they call that over here?
V-groove paneling, I think?
V-groove paneling, and then we'll paint that the same color as the trim, which is just a nice light beige you can see in the window. But we had the sink put in, which is fantastic. We really wanted a sink where you could fit a washing up basin in and had a square bottom. The previous sink that was here was small and round and made it extremely difficult to clean up. So obviously we are not moved in, but there you are. And we got, so this was our initial big project, and it was putting in this bathroom under the stairs.
That is nice.
It replaced our previous pantry, but having 3 children and never knowing what's gonna hit you, just having this extra space made more sense for us. So that is what we're gonna do.
Agreed.
And we're so close to shops that we don't really need that much storage in our kitchen. We can run out as we need. But we had this pedestal sink, really pretty toilet, this new light, which I adore, and then all this plaster wall will have to be prepped, primed, and we'll paint that or put up tiling. We haven't decided yet. So that is still in the works. But we're very thankful to have that space. We need it. Back through to the living room.
I like it.
I have a new light fixture, new paint throughout. Almost all, let's see, the recliner, the little coffee table, and the sideboard back there, the green one, were all secondhand pieces off of Marketplace or thrift stores. And then the couch we had made specifically from Next because we needed something to fit the space. It was an interesting space. Oh, we also had the radiators painted. I love the difference between the trim and the wool. So yeah, and there's Zach doing the built-in.
Zach getting the word.
All right, that's it for today. It's so cute.
Dang, they really put in a lot of TLC on that house. Although it was nice when they got it, but they really put in a lot of work on it, which is dope. That's all we got. Y'all talk to me in the comment section. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. Check out the next. I'll see y'all next time.